My name is Mason, and I'm a real estate agent here in Vail and the greater Tucson, Pima County area. Now, I work with maybe 2/3 of families who are, let's call them remote, whether they're coming from out of state or out of country. For example, I have a family right now that's bouncing between Italy and Spain because that's where they're from. They live here, but they've been gone for a while and they still want to have the ability to view homes. Now, if you explore my channel, you'll see a video I put together a few years back about how I give those shoppers from afar an inside look, a realistic look at the home, the floor plan, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between, as well as even the neighborhood with aerial shots. So I thought, if I do that for families looking at a specific home, why not give you guys an idea of what a community, what a neighborhood looks like? Well, this is the first video of many that goes and explores communities. Now, this isn't a, let's go look at this specific house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,600 square feet. It is not a house tour. This is simply if you're moving from, let's call it Alabama to Arizona, you've identified that you want to be in community X, Y, or Z. This is going to give you an insight into what the neighborhood looks like, what the overall view looks like, what homes look like, what design looks like. Maybe take a look at some of the model homes in there. This is not to sell you on a home. This is simply to show you guys what the neighborhood and area looks like. I know that when my wife and family and I moved from California to here, we would have loved to have seen the neighborhood we found a house in because, spoiler alert, we spent 2 years there and realized that we absolutely hated not only that neighborhood, the backyard of the home, but we weren't too fond of that part of town. Now, it wasn't really a bad part of town. It was just a longer commute than we wanted, but I digress. With this being the first video, we're going to take a look at Hanson Ridge here in Vail. Now, Hanson Ridge has 3 builders, and I will call it, there's 4 different phases. And for the purpose of this video, I'm going to call them A, B, C, and D. Now, this neighborhood, I'll get into more details and there'll be plenty of pictures and footage for you guys to see, but there's maybe 500, just under 600 homes here, and they're split about evenly between 4 different streets or pockets. So all along one main road, as you'll see in this photo, it's called East Trotter Sisters Drive. And along this road are sections A, B, C, and D. A majority of the homes are going to be Meritage and D.R. Horton, and one of the newest additions is the builder KB Homes. Now, if you've been shopping for some time, especially looking at new builds, you're no stranger to these brands. All of these homes are going to be spec homes or semi-custom, but to be honest, not a lot of builders are doing semi-custom homes. And so going back to a spec home, it's going to be made to the builder's specifications. Gone are the days, especially with these 3 builders, where you can pick your cabinets, your tile, your countertops, your paint, your front elevation. You are now stuck with what the builder has spec'd out and is going to put on the market. I have a dear friend with one of those builders. Her name is Amy with Meritage, and she always updates me on what's changing with them specifically. One of the most recent changes is how they are no longer selling homes until they put cabinets in. So before, you could buy the dirt and watch your home be built over the next 6 to 8 months from the ground up. Well, that's no longer a possibility, specifically with Meritage. Now you cannot buy a home until the cabinets have been put in, and that's pretty far along. You already have the framing, the drywall. Again, cabinets go in, then you can buy the home and put an offer on it. And you only wait maybe 1 to 3 months after that stage. If you know me, you know that I live in Vail and I absolutely love this community. And although I don't live in this community, I'm not too far, but I pass by this literally every single day. I've sold a few homes, I've listed a few homes, and I actually have a listing coming up in a few weeks in Hanson Ridge. But what's unique about this neighborhood is it is sandwiched in between almost everything you could possibly want, specifically schools. Now, for those of you that like history, one of the schools that it's next to is the middle school, which is Old Vail Middle School. And this is the oldest and original school to Vail. When the Vail brothers founded Vail many, many decades ago, this was the original school. Although this isn't the original location, it was moved from Del Lago to where it's at now. But Old Vail Middle School is going to be maybe a 3-minute drive from Hanson Ridge to the front steps of Old Vail. The next school is on the opposite side of Hanson Ridge, and it's going to be your elementary school, your K through 8, and a daycare. And this is Acacia Elementary School. Now, these schools are both great. I believe Acacia has achieved the rank of A to A+ school over the past few years, and Old Vail has achieved the same. I think most recently they might have gotten a B rating, but ultimately they are in the Vail School District, and they are phenomenal schools, and I'm speaking for experience as I have multiple children that have gone through both of these schools. Now, right as you exit Hanson Ridge, you're going to be met with a gas station, a restaurant, a DQ ice cream shop, the post office, a gun store, a flooring store, a dance studio. I mean, a number of other locally owned and small businesses. There's not a lot of chain restaurants or chain establishments here in Vail. There are a few, but it is a small town feel, and it definitely feels cozy. Now, circling back into Hanson Ridge, there is still a lot of building going on, especially in sections, we'll call them C and D. And that's because they have built phase 1, which is the front, section A few years ago. And again, I would say, this is my opinion from just looking at the area, there may be about 70% built out. They still have a lot of empty lots that need to be built on. Of course, the market's slow, so that's probably going to be a lot longer of a timeline than what had previously been sold. So there's still a lot of developing in there. There's still a lot of building, and there's a lot of options, whether you want a cul-de-sac lot, whether you want a lot with no neighbors on one side or two sides. There are some lots that face south, looking at the Sahuarita Mountains, which is a beautiful view. So you still have options. I know a majority of the homes, I believe, are being built by now KB and D.R. Horton. Meritage is almost done, I believe, but again, you do have the options from those three builders: Meritage, D.R. Horton, and KB Homes. This is an HOA community, and although I don't have the specifics right now on the HOA, it's pretty minimal. There are some amenities, and it's going to be a few playgrounds and some walking paths. There are multiple model homes from all three builders, so if you want to go explore them, you can. But I also took the liberty of giving a walkthrough of the model homes that Meritage has. Again, this isn't to sell you on these homes. This is just to simply give you an idea of what these homes look like within Hanson Ridge. As you'll see now, I had the opportunity to tour and video two homes from Meritage, a single story, which is the Ethan model, about 1,600 square feet, and then the Grayson model, a much larger two-story home. Now, I will say, and if you're familiar with new builds, you know that the model homes are always decked out. They're always given every single option, and to be honest, they're even given some options that aren't publicly available. They're there to catch your eye, to pop when you walk in. But nonetheless, these homes are going to look about similar when you buy one that's fresh. Now, getting back to your commute and what you're next to, I already mentioned the schools, but the last one is going to be your high school, which is Cienega High School. Now, I have a few notes here of distances and times for commutes, so that way you know, okay, I'm X amount of miles or minutes from these destinations. So Cienega High School is going to be, let me see here, Cienega High School is going to be a 2.7 mile drive, which is 6 minutes from Hanson Ridge to the high school. Now, there are a lot of military coming to and from Tucson for davis-monthan, and if you're interested in that commute, to the back gate, which I believe is currently closed, the Wilmot Gate, it is 18 minutes to the back gate, and if you go around the front to the front gate at Golf Links and Craycroft, where the visitor center is, that is a 27-minute drive. Now, I've done that drive multiple times. My wife just retired from the Air Force. She's done that drive for a couple years. The roads that connect you from Vail to Tucson, to davis-monthan, some of them, I would say maybe a third of them, are possibly even half, are industrial. And so they're open. They're not congested. Now, in Vail, sure, we all know and we all understand that the roads in Vail are tiny and that it's a little too populated, so there is some congestion in the busy commuter hours. But to go from Vail to Tucson, whether it be freeway or the road, the surface streets, it is not a terrible commute. You're not in bumper-to-bumper traffic. You're not dealing with all the city traffic. The roads are wide open. I do believe they are widening a main road, which is Valencia, but we'll see. And ultimately, as a family and a person who hates driving and hates traffic, the drive is not bad at all when it comes to going from Vail, from Hanson Ridge, into town. Going a little further to downtown Tucson, which we absolutely love. That's one of our favorite destinations to go eat, go hang out, and go walk around and look at all the historic items and places. From Hanson Ridge to downtown is 27 minutes. Going a little further north, if you'd like to get to Oro Valley is going to be 51 minutes to the north. Now, Oro Valley has a ton of good hiking, good golf, and it's a really nice place to go hang out and maybe eat at a restaurant there. Now, Oro Valley is pretty far north from Hanson Ridge, so if we flip it and go the opposite way, going south to Sierra Vista, where Fort Huachuca, a major Army installation, is there, and I know at least in my neighborhood here in Vail, we do have a few commuters that commute from here. I'm not, again, in Hanson Ridge, but from Vail to Fort Huachuca, that is going to be a 57-minute drive. And once you leave Hanson Ridge, it's freeway, and then a wide open road, a straight shot all the way south to Sierra Vista. In total, it is 55 miles one way. Next is all your shopping, and as you'll see from the videos, you are very close to just about everything you could possibly need. Home Depot and Walmart, which if you just look those up, you'll see the main shopping centers. It's called Houghton Town Center. Those are going to be 13 minutes from Hanson Ridge on the freeway, exit, and you're there at the Houghton Town Center. There you have pet stores, Mod Pizza, Crumble Cookies, Panda Express, Subway, McDonald's, a smoothie store, you name it. There's a Denny's, a Popeyes, just about everything you can imagine when it comes to chains. Those are all going to be at the Houghton Town Center. Now, I will add an extra note and highlight here. We have a wonderful restaurant there, Rancho Rustico, that is across the street next to Taco Bell, locally owned and operated. They have some of the best steak fajitas and desserts that we've had, and it's really nice to have that in our backyard. Coming even closer to home, if you need a market, a grocery store, a bank, a Chase Bank, Walgreens, Taco Bell, Starbucks, a gas station, a number of other things, a barbershop, a nail salon, that is going to be the Safeway Shopping Center. Now, there is no dedicated name for it, but if you look at Safeway right next to Hanson Ridge, you can't miss it, and it is 5 minutes or 1.6 miles, so less than 2 miles from Hanson Ridge to the grocery store, and really we have almost everything we need. My kid's doctor is right next to there. My dentist is in that shopping center, so we don't have to drive for much. If I were to say that we have to go anywhere for something, it's going to be Costco or it's going to be Target. Target's maybe 25 minutes away. Same with the movie theater. The movie theater is maybe about 20 minutes away, maybe 15 to 20. And then Costco is going to be a short trip down the freeway. Again, another 15, 20, 25-minute drive depending on traffic. Now, you might hear some people say, oh, Vail is way out there. And I don't completely disagree, but you also don't feel consumed by the city, and you also don't feel totally disconnected from the city. It's a good in-between. Vail is known as a small area. We're not technically a town, but we're known as a small area. And in Vail, the area north of the 10 freeway, we only have one stoplight. And I and my wife are both from big cities. Vail feels like small town living. We really enjoy it here. In Hanson Ridge, there are a number of families that we know, my kids go to school with. I am constantly dropping off my kids in that neighborhood to go play with their friends and have sleepovers. It is a really good neighborhood with a lot of young families. But when it comes to commuting and feeling disconnected, you are so close to the freeway, not to a point where you hear it or it's a obnoxious sound, but you are so close to the freeway that just simply hopping on the freeway, heading into town is made so easy with the ease of access to that highway. Now, of course, I'm never going to sugarcoat anything, and there is one major pain when it comes to this community, and that is the train. For those of you that don't know, Vail is known, its nickname is known as a town between two tracks. And if you zoom out and go just north of Hanson Ridge, you will see that there are two railroad tracks that cut right through the middle of Vail. And that's actually somewhat of a historic area because that is where the Vail brothers founded Vail and established the first building to be in Vail. Now, again, if you zoom in and look at where Hanson Ridge is in relation to the railroad track, it is only separated by Trotter Sisters Drive. So you have all the community, the subdivision, Trotter Sisters Drive, a little buffer of desert, and then the freeway. Now, I'm there often, and I see the trains going to and from, and to be honest, they're not terrible. I don't know how it sounds at 3 in the morning when the horn goes off as they cross the intersection. However, the noise of the train, of the cars on the track, is far enough away to it might feel like or sound like a low rumble or a low vibration. There are areas in town, such as Sahuarita and other areas in Tucson and areas in Vail, where homes are right next to the freeway or the railroad track. I will tell you that Hanson Ridge is far enough away that, as me, personally, someone who doesn't want any of that noise, if I had to, I could tolerate it. Again, it's hard to convey in this video, but if you're worried about noise or the trains, then it's definitely something you want to check out prior to buying because there is that presence. Ultimately, with around 500 to 600 homes here, you're going to have a lot of cars going to and from in the morning. Vail is not known for its road infrastructure. We have small roads and a lot of families here. But it is a pleasant neighborhood. It's clean. It's well kept. The parks are nice. There's some green open fields. It does back up to the desert, so you do have some space around you. You are set pretty far back off the road. If you're looking at the intersection where the Chevron gas station is, you're set pretty far back, so you don't feel like you're amongst the commercial or industrial businesses. I hope this video helps give some insight into this community. It's very popular. Again, it's still being developed. If you have any questions about homes specifically, or want to see maybe a D.R. Horton or a KB home, and you're not here, or even if you are here in Tucson, send me a message, call me, text me. I love being your boots on ground. I love being an extension of you. The point of this is to give you guys an insight into the community and show you, hey, do we even want to live here? Is it even worth looking at? I'm not in Arizona, we can't look at it, but at least this gives me the most realistic view of what living in Hanson Ridge consists of. Thank you guys for watching. Again, this is episode 1 of many more community tours to come. If you have a community in mind, just let me know and I could move it to the top of the list and do the same exact video for you, whether it be public like this or something private that I can send to you. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Mason. See you in the next video.